The behavior of consumers in a situation like market competition is done with the help of state charts. AnyLogic has got a very rich library for state charts, and in this video we will see how we can make a state chart for the consumers who are moving through different states. So we have already defined the parameters in our part 2, and then in part 3 we discussed the physical meaning of those parameters. So this video is about the state charts. So the first thing is disclaimer about the material used. So this is the state chart that we are going to make. So let's move to AnyLogic. Now we have to make a state chart based on this diagram. So I'll just try to copy this diagram and copy it in the consumer. So here we go, I have copied it, and this consumer has all the parameters that we have defined here. So now I'm going to add some states. So keep saving the document. So the first thing is the state. So first thing for a state chart is the state chart entry point. So this is our entry point, which is red, showing that there is no, it is not connected to anything. So I'll just drag a state here and I'll connect it to this, and when I connect it, you see that it is now nothing is red now. So this is the state, and I'll call it as potential user, and I'll show its name, and I'll give its color as Dodger blue. And whenever the agents enter in this state, I'll make an entry action, and that will be, I'll press Control space and I'll go to the type the code shape body. We did it before in the last in our last tutorials, and then set fill color. Set fill color, and the color is Dodger blue. Okay, press F7 to see are there any errors. So no errors, so we have now added a potential user state. Okay, so let's first make just first define the states, and for the sake of convenience, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just copy this potential user state by pressing Control C, and I'll copy it 2 times again. Okay, so the first one is, okay, sorry, the first one is here, and this is the second one. The first one is the WantA. I'll call it as WantA, and I'll change its color to cyan, and I'll change the color in here as well. So the benefit is that I don't have to do all the routine insertion of code again and again. So it's already done for my first state, so I can just copy paste it. So I have now WantA, and this is WantB, so I'll name it as WantB, and will give it a lime color. So here in the color I'll type lime. Now I have WantA and WantB here. Now I have another state, this is want anything, so I'll just copy, I have just copied WantA and I have placed it here, and I can name it as want anything, and I'll give it a yellow, okay, gold color, and here the entry action, it's gold now. So now I have, you can see there are 3 errors here. 3 errors are because we have 3 states and which are not connected. So I'll connect them one by one, but first I'm defining the states. Now we have user A state, so I'll just copy this one and paste it again, and I'll call it as user A. So now we have this user A state. I'll just make it a little big because it has one internal transition as well. Now this is user A, and user A is, I'll change its color, something like let's say gray. User A, so it's silver, so I'll give the name silver. So far so good. So there is a transition here, this internal transition, so I'll just click this transition and then I'll connect it. Internal transition is a transition that occurs and the user remains in its current state. So this transition, it is called as contact A, and this is triggered by the rate, and the rate is contact rate. And what happens when this contact happens, what does this do? They just send to random by A. Okay, so hopefully it's okay. Let's press F7 and see what errors do we have right now. So there are 5 errors here. It says element is not reachable. We know this. It's not reachable, so don't worry about it. We will connect them. So I'll just name it. It's just okay. Send to random, and what we are sending by A. Okay, just type it here in like this. Okay. So now what happens? What's going to happen here? Okay, just copy this one, another one state here, and it will be user B, and its color is somewhere around like this, yellow green. So yellow green, and it has this internal transition. I'll just copy it here, and so that it is, and this transition is contact B, and the B users will send the message, and that will be sent to random by B. So what we are doing is we are sending the message that to by A or by B. So hopefully it is, we have done these things in our previous tutorials as well, so I hope that this is clear to you what's happening here. So okay, there is another thing that we want to limit this, we want to limit this, so we can also have, make it a little bit changed, and let's do it first. So let's say we are doing contact A. There are numerous ways, and we will just send an action. We will yeah, this looks fine. This looks fine. So this is also fine. So let's add the transitions now, and these transitions will help us end these errors. So the first transition is from potential users to, double click this and add it from here to here, and this transition, it must be connected. Let's call it as add A, and this is the rate, and this is affected by, press control space, and then we have what, this is control space add effectiveness A. Okay, so this is add A, and I'll just copy this one, this transition. This is, this will make our work easier, and I'll just, place here, and so far so good. And its name will be add B, and it will be add effectiveness of B. So now we have connected this one. Now we now another transition from WantA to UserA, and this transition is basically, it is controlled by a condition, so we will call it as by A, and this is controlled by a condition, and the condition is, okay, we don't know the condition yet, and the condition is about the stock, so we have not yet specified it. So let's just first keep it as it is. Okay, and I can just copy it here, or I'll do the copying later on. Now there are still 3 errors here, and these 3 errors are telling us there are some more things to do. So this is transition from WantA to want anything, and this transition is, we call it as give up A. It's timeout, and we have the give up waiting time, so give up A, so we call it as this one, give up A here, and we have already defined, by the way, this give up time. So I'll just copy this transition and I'll paste it. I'll also use it for here, and this will be give up B. Okay, so give up A, give up B. Now there are like still 2 errors because but before removing these errors, I'll go back to the main so that I can permanently handle these errors. And here what I'm going to do, I'm going to define the stocks. So the stocks are defined by, if you hover your mouse here, you can see there's a library, system dynamics library. So stocks are defined as the stock blocks, which I have dragged here. This is the stock A, and it has an initial value of 42,000 items. Okay, and this one is the stock of B, and it also has a value of B. Now since I have defined these stocks, I can rectify the errors in my consumer diagram. I will go back there, and then I just, if you remember, there is a condition for buy, and that says you can buy when the stock is greater than or equal to 0. So sorry, greater than equal to 1. So I'll type it here as my main dot stock. I think this is the name that I have used. Stock A greater than or equal to, greater than 0 or just greater than equal to 1. And I can also keep this thing as the guard, and whenever this thing happens, what happens here is it is minus, it is subtracted from it is, quantity is subtracted, quantity is subtracted by 1, so minus equal to 1. Okay, so this is the transition for condition for the buy, and I can just copy here, and I can use the same thing for the B, and here I'll copy, so replace by B, stock of B, and stock of B and B. So this guard is just to avoid the avoid the negative values. We really don't need it, but this is just on the safe side. Okay, so we have defined this. Now when they are in buy A or when they are in want anything, they can from there they can buy A or buy B, whatever stock is available. So I'll just first copy buy A from here, this transition. I'll just make another copy of this one, and I will connect it to the from want anything to, and I'll name it as buy A1. Similarly, I'll copy this buy B transition and I will connect it to the from want anything to this one. So all they are all controlled by, okay, sorry, all controlled by condition, and these conditions are for B and the earlier ones. So we have kind of completed a lot of things here. We are left with two more transitions, and these are the word of mouth. And as discussed before, that word of mouth, it is initiated by the contact of the users with the potential users. So in the contact A and B, when we were doing this in internal transition, we wrote this line for the action that the agent would send a message by B to the potential users, and some of the receivers of the message will adopt the product. So we are going to model it. So this is the word of mouth. So we will go to the agent library, state chart library, and here we have transition. We will double click it, and then we will connect potential user with the WantB, and it is red because it is not connected. This transitions, when I'll connect it to the state, it will become red. One more thing is that if you double click on this transition arrow, then the more points appear, and by dragging these points you can mold the arrow to any shape of your requirement. Now going back to this transition, we will call it as word of mouth B. It is triggered by a message of type string on a particular message, and that message is by B, and the guard for this transition is random true, and this is the product of adoption fraction B multiplied by contact rate. So, and if I press F7, it says everything is okay. So yes, and one more thing, there is an error here. This transition, I have named it as give up A B. It's only a name, it doesn't make a difference, but we will correct it to give up B. So now we have modeled the word of mouth B. I'll just copy it by pressing Ctrl C and then Ctrl V, and then I'll join this. I'll make this transition for the want from want A and the potential user. So this transition is word of mouth A, and everything changes accordingly. This is A and this is A. Okay, so now we have modeled the transition word of mouth A and word of mouth B. So we are done with all the transitions. So in the next video, what we are going to do is we are going to add the variables and the events to complete our simulation. So the next part will be the last part. So stay tuned and keep watching this series, and please also comment if you want more scenarios to be discovered to be simulated in AnyLogic agent based modeling. Please do let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.